Warning, this podcast contains death.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for The Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 16, The First Day of the Rest of Your Life. I'm your host, Clio, and with me I have John and Dom.
Hello.
Hi. There wasn't as much death as I was expecting.
Red shirts, mostly.
There was a lot of death. Just nobody we cared about.
Just nobody important, except for Sasha.
Well, like, especially in that one scene where Rick was just kind of getting strolled through the town, like, seeing all these horror, he's like, oh, my friends are all dead. I'm like, I've literally never seen these people before. Are you sure they live here?
That shot where you see one dead body, you see another one, there's one on the porch. I'm like, I don't know you, I don't know you, I don't know you. Okay, alright, fine. It's like, and they did 3 fake outs. 3 fake outs this episode.
Listen, I just want to say, Rob and I were in stitches because, like, we were just like, Rick's just like, who are these fucking dead people here? Who are you? That's why he was all freaked out. He's like, who put dead bodies of people I don't know in this town?
Yeah. I think...
I mean, they did the Michonne one. They did... Are you counting Carl?
And Eugene. She pressed the button to blow him up.
Well, yeah. It's not really a fake out, but...
That's a fake out.
No,
that was... fake out.
No.
The one real fake out was Michonne. The other 2, I think, were half fake outs.
Yeah.
They were like,
a fake out...
There's too much of that shit in the show.
Fake out would mean, like, they go through with whatever and you think they're dead, but they're not. Like Michonne.
Like Glenn.
But the other one, yeah. Glenn and Michonne, things we've seen. I wouldn't call the Eugene. They had every intention of killing Eugene. And they had, Jeffrey D. Morgan... Negan. Couldn't think of his name for a second. I just blanked out. Negan had every intention of killing Carl, but...
Yeah. No, I know they did.
Yeah.
And they got so close, and that's why I was kind of lumping them in the same...
The Carl one actually got me, right? The other one, I was like, that's not Michonne, that's the other... Like, I knew that instantly.
Yeah, I knew that too.
And the Eugene one, I go... he's not gonna die. Like, maybe, I thought maybe the explosion... The Carl one, I thought he was dead. Because of all the stuff that was going on with Chandler... like the rumor mill saying he's going to college, and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, well, he's leaving the show, like, So, as soon as that bat started swinging, I was like, not even for a minute, thought he would live through that.
Yeah, me neither. But I don't think that being like, oh, Michonne's not dead, that's still a fake out because they wanted you to believe.
Oh yeah. No, I said Michonne's a fake out. The other 2, I don't think are.
All right. I feel like we have to get back to death is a real consequence for every, like, it's a real threat for every single character.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm looking at the main cast, I'm like, you kind of have plot armor. Like, what have you done to show me that everyone is in danger?
The ones that I'm surprised lived are Carol and Morgan. Like, I sure thought at least one of them was dead. Because they're way past their life expectancy from the comics.
Which is what I like. I
dead.
would like if they killed off someone that's still alive in the comics.
Me too. But that's why I'm saying I am very surprised that both of them made it through this season.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big comic. I don't read a lot, but sometimes, I'll read an article and it will mention it, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got to see the tiger. She got to leave the kingdom.
Oh, that tiger was fantastic.
And I was like, oh, Sheba, cutie little baby, you better bite a man's head off. And she didn't disappoint.
Did either of you have a chance to watch...
She was biting that guy's face!
Did either of you have a chance to watch The Talking Dead?
No.
They did a... Because the way The Talking Dead aired, it aired after whatever show was after The Walking Dead.
Into the Badlands.
Yeah, Into
they
the
did that
Badlands.
last season too.
Yeah, so it aired like an hour, so they had a little more time to prepare some stuff, and I guess they went through YouTube and found a whole bunch of people doing live reactions to The Walking Dead, and they did a montage of everybody's reaction to the tiger jumping out, like when Carl's getting the bat swung and the tiger just...
Yeah.
And there was this huge montage of people just gasping, cheering, jumping out of their chairs when the tiger... And I was like, I wish I recorded me, because that was me.
Because that... And I honestly, that was me too, because they did a great job of... what do they call that? When you're busy paying attention to something that you get surprised with something else.
Misdirection?
Misdirection. Yeah. They did a good job of misdirection because you were so busy focused on Negan and Rick that I nearly forgot there was a tiger coming.
Well, no, because I'm sitting there just like going, tiger, 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 tiger. The whole scene. And I'm like, and then like it jumps, like she jumps out. I'm like, tiger.
Here's what really distracted me. I got my Rick back.
Yeah.
Like we've seen Rick say things to Negan, kind of stand up to Negan, but this time it felt like there was real like effort behind it. He was like, "No, I'm going to kill you," and I'm like, "That's my Rick." Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, if he had killed Carl, I kind of would have liked to see the murder bot he turned into.
Yeah.
Shame.
Shame.
Like I know Carl's still alive in the comic, or at least up to this point, you know, Carl's still alive in the comics, and I don't know about past this coming season and stuff like that, but I know at some point I think it's Rick loses a hand and stuff like that. So I was expecting some of that to go down, maybe a mishmash of it, maybe Carl lose a hand instead and have one eye, one hand kind of deal and turn him into a pirate. But like
I want to see handless Rick, like because Negan threatened to take both his hands.
Yeah,
like handless Rick.
But I honestly expected Carl to die here. I really did, and it was just more of, you know, when you're filming a show like this, and you have, when you brought the Chandler, you know, on to play Carl. What are we in? 6 years ago? 7 years ago? Seven years ago. You brought him 7 years ago. You don't know what his plans were for school and stuff like that, and things change, and at that point, you know, and especially because of shows like, I think the biggest example is Lost, and how children age and stuff like that, and you really have to deal with working around the child, you know, as, you know, more so anything. So it's a little different for other actors when they sign on. They kind of know what they're getting into, but a child actor is a little bit different. And then when he hits that point, and he's like, yeah, maybe I do want to go away for school. So I'm sitting here going, there's all this talk about him wanting to do that. So they're probably not going to keep Carl around. And then when the time was coming, the bat was going down, there was not even a doubt in my mind that bat was going. Did everybody freeze? Okay, I guess we're unfrozen. We're back. Yeah, but like I was saying, there's not a doubt in my mind that he was gonna die there, because I for sure thought he was going away for college.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought he was gonna die because Negan when he's set on doing something, he does it.
Yeah.
Unless a tiger.
Unless a tiger, exactly.
His reaction to the tiger.
Oh, mwah.
That's
Magnifico.
exactly what I was waiting for. They nailed it.
It was great.
It's like, they got a goddamn tiger. That lady's back from the dead.
That's right. I forgot he was talking about Mackie. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I liked how everybody sort of came together in that point. And I think that was the part I liked about the episode, It was the 40 minutes before that I didn't like because nothing happened.
Now, this was an extended episode, but my DVR put it at an hour and 15 minutes as opposed to
Really?
an hour and 30.
Mine was an hour and 25 minutes.
Okay. I don't...
Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, this does not seem like a very extended episode to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they did like the I didn't watch Into the Badlands because I never finished last season.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they did like Into the Badlands with limited commercials. So they could have squeezed that into 45 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
Ish. But anyway. God, just the beginning was such a slow ramp up. And I feel like that was very indicative of the entire season.
Well, it was really dealing with Sasha. You know, it was the slow ramp up was for that. That was kind of the purpose of it. Because they couldn't just jump right into the final battle without giving Sasha her closure and her journey.
It was too long.
I think it was fine. I think it was an okay length. But it was spread out a little. It was spread out too much. If it was one, because on Talking Dead, Abraham was on as well. He came on to surprise Sasha. It was actually kind of cool. He did like, oh, he's filming a movie in Canada. He can't make it, and they did like a little video of him just like, you know, thanking her for her time, and then the video had some like glitch in it, and he's like, you know, if he was here, he'd say this, and then all of a sudden he came walking out from the back, and she started crying and everything. It was fantastic. But and he has gray hair, not red hair. It's really weird. But with that, they said they filmed that as one scene. Like it was one very long scene that they cut out. You know, they cut apart and spread. They probably could have gotten away with just doing it all at once, and I think it would have been fine. I think
honestly, I liked that it was split in between all the other communities getting ready. I just thought there was too much of it. It could have been shorter. I don't know. It just didn't pull at my heartstrings like I think it was supposed to.
I don't know if it was necessarily meant to. I think it was just kind of to give Sasha closure. And I think they did a fantastic job with it. The thing that dragged it on, I think maybe for me, was not that scene, but was the Sasha coffin scenes, listening to music and all that. That's the only gripe I have with this episode, was all of that. I'm like, I didn't understand what was going on. Like I knew she was locked somewhere. I knew she was listening to music. I knew she swallowed the pill because she drank the water and all. I got all that, but like the way it was cut every time, that was too much for me.
I really liked that in the end she did use the pill. I honestly didn't think it was going to work on her because it was made for a woman much smaller than her. I thought it wasn't going to kill her.
Yeah,
so that
taking longer.
Yeah, I guess she was sweating, and so maybe it was just a little, you know, just really painful. But yeah, that honestly shocked me. I liked that. Not that I liked that she committed suicide. I liked the twist.
She basically followed Holly. That was basically what happened with Holly.
That's what Holly did?
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Did not see the trash people uprising coming.
No, but in the end, it wasn't surprising, nor I think did it have the impact they were going for.
It kind of took me aback for a moment. I was just like, "Oh, you fuckers!" And then I was like thinking that, I was like, before they revealed it, I was like, "Negan, you son of a bitch." Yeah. It's like, at what point, that's what was going through my mind, but it instantly went to, at what point did Negan get a hold of him? And then the way that I forget her name. The
trash
leader,
woman.
The
trash woman.
Yeah, she's got a...
Fuck whatever her real name is.
Jada.
She's trash woman.
Jada?
Yeah.
Something like
Jada.
that.
Yeah, it is Jada.
The way she said, oh, well, they came with a better deal. I was like, okay, so this was after Rick made the deal.
Yeah. Honestly, it was probably after she upped their deal to $65 68 guns or whatever.
Yeah, probably.
It was probably after that.
When she demanded the cat back.
Yeah. But turns out she wanted people. She wanted 12 people.
She's only getting 10.
Only getting 10. I like that. Negan didn't have to say a damn thing. She was just like, 10. It's like, woman, you suck at negotiating.
She's the worst negotiator. I think we've already established
She's the worst
Yeah.
at almost everything. Almost everything.
She just doesn't know how to haggle.
he doesn't know how to haggle. I was gonna wait. Shit. Where was I going with? Oh yeah, no, it wasn't surprising. Like they pulled the guns, and I was like, oh, look at that. People who we met like
Turns
5
out-
episodes turns out not trustworthy.
Mercenaries are really easily bought. Huh.
Turns out the person who threw you into a pit with gladiator zombie couldn't be trusted.
Yep. And there, like, we mentioned last week, but it was like at the very end of the show after we were already doing the sign off that a lot of people are placing them as the Whisperers from the comics. Yeah. And the Whisperers are kind of a big deal. They're like the next big obstacle after Negan. And I still think there's plenty of room for these to be the Whisperers.
Yeah, I think so. And honestly, I don't think it's as big of a theory yet. Because a lot of stuff I'm reading don't really call them or make mention of that. Most of like the articles I read call them original characters.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm thinking in the in the blank slot we've got, you know, all this time to think about it. I think that theory is going to grow.
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, it would definitely be very interesting because there are some similarities between them, for sure. They may, in fact, just be completely original characters, and then we get the
they're
Whisperers.
All trash.
Yeah. We may get the Whisperers later, but you know, I would love to have it revealed that they're actually the same thing.
I would like it if maybe a part of this group became the Whisperers. I kind of like that the trash people are just the original characters. Yeah, I would like if like a portion of this group became like something like that, something a little more.
They were riding bicycles. They're definitely heapsters.
Oh my god, they were riding bicycles and they had 3 garbage trucks. I was like, of course. They would not ride anything else except for garbage trucks and bicycles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really waiting for one of them to just be like, and scene, that's a wrap, everybody, let's bring it back.
They're just theater people.
Yeah.
This is one big performance art piece.
Yep.
Like, how did they all find each other?
They get out of the garbage trucks and they do their crisscrossy thing, and I'm just like,
I mean,
who are you people?
I mean, they had a big smoke stage production, and they exit stage left, so.
Yeah. Yep. Which I like that part, too, where they're just like, oh, nope, flare, we're out.
Nope. Dip.
Yep.
We're gonna steal their trucks. We're out.
Yeah, the flare and then climbing over the fences for escape, like, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing about the Whisperers that, like, I do know is that, like, they wear zombie skin over their own skin.
Right.
Because they, like, live among the dead, I guess, and they're yeah.
I had a thought. What if it's Nick? What if Nick, like, comes across the country with just, like, the group of Whisperers?
That'd be cool.
Listen. That's what I want.
Amazing.
That's what I want.
Yeah, I don't know. But, so, I mean, there might be a side of the trash people we don't see. And, you know, I don't know. We'll see. But that's, like, the big hallmark of the Whisperers. So, like, if we start seeing that shit rolling around, then hold on to your hats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You think Negan's bad? There's always something worse.
Yeah.
It's always a bigger fish.
Mm-hmm. Something I found really interesting this episode was Dwight.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Dwight.
I could kind of tell in his face as Negan, you know, they were going about Negan had no idea not Negan. Dwight had no idea what was going on with the trash people.
No.
Mm-mm.
No, he didn't. But
And he even left that note for Daryl.
that was what was on the soldier?
It said, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced that Dwight wrote that.
Because I was going to say, I have no idea what that soldier means or...
Did we ever see Dwight's handwriting in that scene where in that episode where he was finding all the clues left by
I don't think so.
his ex-wife? No? Because that would be definitive. We could check the handwriting and see if it was the same.
It's just like, what is the significance of the soldier, though? Like, that's what I didn't understand.
I don't know. It was just something he had in his pocket.
Yeah.
Or
maybe.
picked up off the ground.
Or had at the market where Eugene bought the first generation iPod.
Wait. When Daryl got his clothes when he was leaving Sanctuary,
Mm-hmm.
I think he picked up one of I think that Dwight was whittling. I gotta go back in this and check, but I think they were in his room.
Okay.
I think Daryl saw them when he was leaving Sanctuary. I think that's why he dropped it.
Okay.
He might have known that Daryl would have recognized it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I gotta confirm that. I don't actually know.
That's what I think. It must be. Yeah, actually, there's a picture of it here. It's a figurine from his shelf.
Yes.
his
Okay.
room.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking at the
All right.
picture
But
now.
yeah, it just said I didn't know, and it was just
Yeah.
him trying to tell
Yeah.
Daryl he didn't betray them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just thought all his facial expressions were really intriguing. He was just brilliantly acted
Mhm.
in this episode.
Well, he had to hold it together. He's
For-
their sleeper agent.
For that soldier,
Yeah, really.
For that soldier to be where it was, and all that, and just happen to have Daryl be the one to find it, closing the gate and everything. It's just too happenstance, for me.
I don't know. Daryl's the only one that pays that much attention to things.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah, and
way
I-
off in the side by the gate. What if anybody else closed the gate? Then Daryl wouldn't have seen it.
Or maybe eventually Daryl would have found it.
Maybe.
I think it was it was a place he saw that you could see through to see the statue, but also out of the way so nobody who wasn't closing the gate would really see it. I think he wanted
Yeah,
to
maybe.
drop it somewhere where Negan and the other saviors wouldn't find it.
Well, yeah, that
Because
definitely.
they would have
that.
known it was his statue.
Definitely that.
But yeah, you're right. If anyone could, he wouldn't have found it this episode.
He-
Yeah. Maggie's speech at the end, I think was the most touching thing.
yeah,
Like
with
talking
the
about,
Glenn references and all that.
yeah, but then I didn't like the very last sentence she had because it sort of boiled her entire existence down to thanks to Glenn, this all happened.
Brilliant.
I mean, but in a way, she's not wrong.
No, she's
this
not.
whole community that they created would not exist if Glenn didn't save Rick from the tank in the first episode. You know?
Because you know what? Because if Rick wasn't with the group in the beginning, they all would have died to those walkers coming out of the trees. And then what is that? The second episode when they were
Yeah,
outside.
or if
Yep.
if
Yeah, they all would have died there.
if they did live for whatever they'd be under the rule of Shane, and
Who would have driven them into the dirt?
they would not have ever made it to the same place.
No.
So yeah, she's not wrong when she attributes everything that they've done, everything that where they are, and everything they have to thank Glenn for. They really do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not to say that there wasn't other characters that were just as important crossroads somewhere along the line, but Glenn is the first example.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I should have more to say, but there was a lot of action in this episode.
This was a very, very action-packed episode. The Sasha thing, it really did surprise me. Like, I knew she took the pill, but for whatever reason, I was not expecting a walker to pop out of that coffin.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, John, you kind of had an idea, from you said going into the episode from last week, you said you kind of have a feeling you know where it's going. And for whatever reason, I was like, yep, she took the pill, she swallowed it. I was like, okay. Did not click in my brain. Oh, she's going to come back as a zombie and attack Negan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my logic was like, what else is getting the gang out of this one,
Yeah.
That's why, I kind of knew the tiger thing was happening. I'm like, well, what's going to get the gang out of this one? A fucking tiger.
Yeah.
Which is kind of...
You know what I mean? You basically, I just eliminated all the other options. Like, well, has to be a walker, because what else is going to do this,
I said, though, I thought Carl was going to die, and I thought while Carl was dead and people were sitting there, shocked, that's when the tiger was going to roll in and, all these people, but, I totally expected him to die. And then when Sasha comes out and is attacking Negan, when Carl just started grabbing the gun and shooting people, he shot 3 people in the span of a half second. And I'm just what the hell's going on? And then all hell fucking breaks loose. And I was just like, this scene is probably, I don't even care. I was really mad at the first half of the season or whatever, but, this whole episode to me made up for everything that they put us through this season. This was a very fantastically crafted episode. Yes, the beginning was a little slow, but the action was really worth it. The build-up, as slow and as agonizing and as much as we all hated it, the point was for us to hate it. It was to hate seeing the people in these positions, hate seeing them not being these people that we know them to be, and dragging that on made us hate it more.
Because that's not... But you see, that's different. Hating that Rick is being pushed down and demoralized is different than hating this season. I did really hate this season.
But the reason why
because
a lot of the hate for the season,
so much, it didn't feel whole. I don't know.
It's because it's the team. The group was separated. That's why it didn't feel whole. It's because they weren't acting as a group.
That's not. It's not just it. And I think this episode highlighted, while I do like this episode a lot more than a lot of this season, it highlighted the problem I have. I feel now they haven't proven to me that we could lose. The whole point of the end of last season and the first episode of this season was, look at how much you've just lost, and the rest of the season has just been. Yeah.
The rest of the season's been.
We've had 3 Deus Ex Machinas in this one episode.
This episode is don't give up.
The tiger, the Sasha zombie. It's just something's gonna come and save the team. I didn't feel like. I don't know. We had one main character death.
Yeah. And she went out on her own accord.
Yeah.
Well, what I think the issue is that we knew a vague outline of the plot points this season, right? So we knew the beginning was going to be the bat sequence, and then we knew the middle was going to be Negan being an asshole.
You said bat sequence, and I thought of
Batman.
And then we knew
the. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay.
If Batman was in the show, it'd be a lot better. Just throwing it out there, guys, if you want to do that. So, basically we had 3 things happen this season. We had Negan beat people to death, Negan be a dick, the rising up and stopping Negan from being a dick, right? Those are the 3 main plot points.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not a lot to go on for 16 episodes. That's the problem. They spread themselves too thin. I think the season, I know technically speaking, in the way the money works, they couldn't have shortened it. It had to be 16 episodes. I think it could have been done in 12 or 10, honestly. There was a lot of stuff we didn't need to see, and I think that was what dragged it down for me so much because I didn't. By the end of it, like honestly, like I was hoping this episode would be like the big, oh my god, yes, it's finally like. I didn't feel that way, and it's because there were only 3 plot points that had to be dragged out for 16 episodes. So like, I get it. You want to feel annoyed about Negan. You want to feel the struggle that like they're struggling with. Cool, fine. That could have been done in a lot briefer period of time, and I just wish like they had the flexibility like HBO has, because like HBO is letting Game of Thrones do a shorter season this year because they don't need to tell that much story. I feel like if The Walking Dead had that flexibility, like if AMC allowed them to do that, it would have been a better season. That's the sad part.
I don't disagree that it didn't get dragged too far, but I think a lot of the like the whole episode where we dedicated to, you know, Lakeside, and I think those are very necessary episodes. I don't think those were dragged out. I think we needed to have a full episode dedicated to Lakeside. I actually love that story, you know, and then the
I did
revisit.
too. I thought you didn't like that one.
Like,
or did John not like that one?
I didn't like it at the time of I want to know what the hell is going on, but that was a more like, can we just get back to our characters kind of thing.
But again, Oceanside wasn't my problem with the season.
No, I know, but I'm saying that contributed to the problem of dragging the season out. Because you're staying away from the moment of our characters, you know? Like, there's major stuff going on, and then instead of dealing with it, we're spending an episode in Lakeside. So that's more of a, like the chronological order of like the events and stuff like that, because you're having events that are taking place, and then you're just going and rewinding back to Lakeside that happened before the events of the Oceanside, of rewinding back to the events of before the episode you just watched last week, and then after Lakeside you're now fast forwarding back to the end of 2 weeks ago's episode, and it's just the way that's all, like the way it was done in that regard, like it was dragging things out. As an individual episode, I liked it, but where it was placed, I didn't like it. You know what I mean? But you can't really do anything about that. What are you going to do? Save that episode till, you know, it had to be done that way. Like, I get that. There's not much you could do in that regard. It's not like they can just air
because it was the episode before Tara came back. So
right, exactly.
It had to be done there.
Exactly. So
doing it earlier would have really thrown off the flow of the season.
So I totally get it, but regardless, the flow of the season is thrown off regardless, no matter how you do it. But
yeah, it would have to be written differently.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's like not. There was just stuff that I mean, I think I said it during the episodes. I don't want to rehash all that stuff. Like, I feel like some things could have been smushed together into like one episode sometimes, you know. And some of these episodes didn't have to have the extra time that they allotted for them as well.
Yeah.
There was actually a lot of episodes that Rick wasn't in this season. He was actually only in 9 out of the 16 episodes.
Good, because I don't think I could have.
Which is weird for like. Well, I'm only saying it because he's the main character of the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The show's about Rick. Mm-hmm. So it's weird that their main character wasn't in almost all of the episodes. There was, you know, that's 7 episodes that he wasn't in. That's a lot.
How many?
You know?
I'd be interested to see the contrast
mid-season
of how
Rick
many.
would have been really boring to be in every single episode.
I'd love to see the contrast to find out how many episodes that Negan was in.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Ooh.
I would love to find that contrast.
That many?
No, but it's probably close.
Like, we've heard his voice a lot, but like.
Yeah.
Well, in any case, it's just I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like, I watch this show because of Rick. I mean, that's really why I watch the show. All right, Daryl and Carol are cool, but if Rick wasn't the main character of the show, I'd probably stop watching it because he's my man. You know, he's the Bruce Wayne of this fucking show.
I definitely don't watch because of Rick. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, no, I look, I get that, but it's just like they need to refocus next season. It's like what I'm just worried because like they hemorrhaged viewers this season, and they got to know that.
Not surprising
this is honestly though the first season that we've had to deal with it on this scale. I'm not saying we haven't had problems with individual episodes before, but this is the
Oh, sure.
the first time that we've dealt with it on this scale. And like I
Yeah.
said, a lot of it is because our group was spread too thin. They're spread out across 4 different camps. We introduced 2 additional camps on top of that. You know, it was just
One of which we don't really care about.
I don't know.
Trash people.
I actually really like the trash people. I wish
No,
we
no, no.
had a full episode dedicated to the trash people.
There's so many questions.
Exactly. I
the
like
trash
them,
people.
but it's
I want
hard
an
to
origin
care
story.
about them when we don't really know what they're about, and we don't really, they betrayed them, and it's like, oh, that's. I mean, I didn't see it coming, but that's kind of not surprising.
Yeah. So Negan has been in
look.
17 episodes total since he's been on the show.
It's more than Rick.
More than
Well, so that was
Well, he
that was
hasn't
last
physically been in all of them. Like, we've heard him on the radio in a few.
yeah.
that was last what was it? Last he was in the finale, right? How many was he in?
Yes.
Just the finale last year?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it.
So yeah.
We don't see him until he walks out of the trailer at the very end.
Yeah.
But then he couldn't have been in 17 episodes because there were 16 episodes in this season, and he wasn't in every single one of these.
Well, no, they're counting him if he even did a voice part.
Yeah.
Because
No,
he was
I
on the
understand.
radio in a lot of episodes.
Yeah,
But
they're still counting that.
But for an episode like Swear, where that's the Oceanside episode, not even his voice was in there.
That's true.
He wasn't in that
Yeah, it
episode
could
at all.
have been 16 then.
Oh, that's what this is saying. I don't remember specifically. I thought there was a
I
tiny
have no
bit.
idea.
Thought there was a tiny bit involving the Saviors in that episode.
They talked about them, but I don't think we saw or heard anything like that.
Well, he might have gotten credit even though he wasn't in the episode, because they'll do that.
Yeah.
You know, in like the
Yeah, it
opening
says
credits.
credit only, so I don't know.
So they might have counted it on IMDb. Who knows? But in any case, I just thought it was interesting. That's just an interesting point to bring up about like the main character of the show.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for sure.
I just and look, and I don't mind focusing on side characters and like developing them a little bit. Like, and it's just, you know, some of the side characters that they were quote unquote focusing on were annoying, like Rosita the whole season until 2 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
Sasha to excuse me, a lesser extent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you could write them in an interesting way and tell a good story, then like that's fine. Like if we get next season like a dedicated "Where the fuck Heath went" episode, that'd be fine with me as long as it's really cool.
Please, because I actually like Heath before he disappeared off the face of the fucking earth.
So this episode didn't resolve our theory of Eugene. I just want to know at the end of the
It did not.
episode
Yes.
now, where do you guys stand? Where do you feel he is?
I don't know. Because while he was standing in front of them with the megaphone, he had no intention of aiding them. I think what he wanted to do was have them lay down their weapons so none of them got killed.
Right, that's still.
But then
aiding
that's
them.
not helping them.
Less of them.
That is helping them. Making sure they don't get killed is helping them.
That's helping them in his mind. Because laying down their weapons is not what they want to do. They want to fight and win.
But Eugene has not been there for that, so he doesn't know that.
I know.
So that is
So
helping
he thinks
them.
he thinks he's helping them.
Right.
He's not.
Right. So the whole point is where Eugene's allegiances are, not whether or not what he's actually doing. Like I said, he doesn't know about that. But if he's still willing to help them, that he still cares about them. If he didn't care about them, if he was 100% with the Saviors, he wouldn't have requested, to try to spare their lives and all this stuff. He worded it to Negan to stop the casualties on Negan's part. He wanted to minimize all, and we know that's not what Eugene was trying to do. Eugene was trying to protect them.
And inadvertently, he did save them, because if he didn't let Sasha kill herself, then none of this would have ever happened.
Yeah. Yep.
Which
know what
I
I mean?
think that's going to backfire on him if Negan
So,
ever finds that other
technically-
pill.
Well, yeah. Well, you already saw Negan pointed the bat
Yeah,
at him and
absolutely.
asked him. He's like, well, it was tightly sealed and she suffocated. And Negan. Then they're like, well, I guess that's a possibility. We'll have to find out.
And that's what was running through my mind. I'm like, they put this woman in a coffin Those were not meant for people to breathe in.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a couple-hour trip, they said, too, so...
Yeah, you
Well-
you have an hour of oxygen in a coffin, maybe. Maybe.
There was, I don't know for sure, but there was a movie that actually dealt with this. I think it was called Buried. And the movie took place in... the entire movie took place inside of a coffin that was... The guy was buried alive. It was a soldier. And, I don't remember how long he was in. I think it was the running time of the movie.
5.5 hours, I'm sorry.
Okay, so...
5.5 hours.
No,
I thought it was a lot
That's
less than
enough
that.
time.
yeah, Negan's not going to know that.
I mean,
you
No,
know?
he's not.
We don't know that, so
he
we can't
tried
assume
to-
Negan's gonna just. Yep, she's got 5.5 hours of that oxygen, but
he tried to justify it by saying like, "Oh well, you know, because she was in the casket with the tarp over it, you know, that restricted the
Yeah.
airflow too much." Blah blah blah. But, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he can't say it with conviction, so like he can smells that first. So
Mm-hmm.
yep. I mean, Negan's got no choice but to believe him because it sounds plausible. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't
I
have
would have
Google.
believed it.
We don't have Google in zombie apocalypse, so Negan can't like verify this information. He's got to go off of what he says, and to be honest, it sounds plausible. So, you know, at face value, he's got to accept it.
Yeah. And a big thing in this episode was Maggie's choice to bring the hilltop into the conflict. And I think that's gonna...
What happened with the leader of Hilltop?
He fucked off to go tell Simon, oh, Maggie's, encroaching on my leadership. So he went to Sanctuary.
Was
I
he
thought
in
that
this
was going to
episode?
play out this episode. No, not at all.
Because we saw everybody else, you know?
Yeah.
The guy he
no,
answers to, what's his name? I can't even remember, was there.
Who?
The savior that he answers to.
Simon?
Simon.
Yeah, Simon was there.
Simon
Yeah,
was
you're right.
there. Everybody, he wasn't there.
No, he probably didn't make it. He probably was on his way there as Negan was on his way to Alexandria.
So he was standing there when Negan declared war?
Maybe. Maybe he was inside.
He stopped to, you know,
Because I don't think
bed and
Simon was
breakfast
in
at the
that
hotel on
scene.
the way.
I don't think Simon was in that scene. So
Yeah.
he could have been off talking to Simon at that time.
Maybe.
mm,
I think it was just Dwight and Eugene that were standing there.
Yeah. You mean Dwight and Negan?
That also pissed me off when Negan's like, come on, Eugene's one of you. I'm like, no, he's not. He just said he was Negan. Like, come on.
Playing mind games with him.
I know. But it's just sometimes he's like, it's like, who are you fooling, Negan? Come on.
Lady-sized beach nuts. Beach ball-sized lady nuts.
Beach ball sized lady nuts. Oh, he said something else this episode that made me laugh. I think it was the tiger thing.
Yeah. No, but on Talking Dead, when he was asking, and he goes, did Negan really, care, something like, what was Negan's fascination with Sasha? And Jeffrey Dean Morgan goes, because she had beach ball-sized lady nuts. And I was just like, he really brought that into the Talking Dead.
Oh, no, I also laughed at, you got me wrapped around your little finger, and it's not a lady thing. If I would be enamored with you if you had a dick.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was funny.
You know, she really is just a unique person, especially, like, even when she killed herself, he didn't know that. Oh, well, no, when she was going in the coffin, that's what it was. He's like, man, you're one of a kind, and closes the fucking coffin on her.
Yep.
He's like, we can put you in right before we get there, and she's like, no, I'll sit there the whole time. It's like, damn. All right.
Damn.
Whatever you say.
Yep.
Yep. Season's over. I feel like I can breathe again. I hope.
It's unlike last season, right? Where
I know. Oh my god.
last season,
It's like
the season finale, you ended with such anxiety that
Oh
by
my
the
God.
time this season came around, you were just numb.
6 months of anxiety. I hope this, like, I know from the first episode, the writers have really listened to the
Yes.
criticisms, and I hope that they take that over the break and work on it, you know, because I feel like they did get themselves into a complacency.
I'm sure they will,
And-
because you even see that with Fear the Walking Dead, where a lot of people, we may be the minority of it, that like the split of the, because it felt like two different, well, at least some of us, I can't speak for all of us, but I personally liked how it was one season, one half season that dealt with one story arc,
Yes.
had a break, came back, was another story arc, but it was part of the same whole. Like, it was an overarching theme that worked really well, and I felt as two separate entities, it worked really good like that.
And I think last season of Fear the Walking Dead, I liked that mid-season finale because I was like, this mid-season finale was better than the Walking Dead season finale. Like, I went on and on about that.
Yeah, but apparently a lot of people didn't like that. We're kind of the minority here. A lot of people didn't like that, and going into the season now, they've heard the people out, and they're like, no, we're just gonna air it all at once and do it. It's coming in like June or July.
Oh, so it's
just going straight through.
Otherwise,
Straight
it would
through
be
to-
starting next week, which it's not.
straight through to when?
To the start of The Walking
start
Dead.
of The Walking Dead.
Okay. All right. As long as it leads into it, I guess I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But I really did like it starting immediately, having the break, and then ending right into The Walking Dead.
I did too.
But you know what? This is fine.
Yeah,
I'm okay
it
with
was
that.
cool.
Yeah, I
I
just
just can't wait for
I
it.
just like two shorter stories, so we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
And technically, not next week because it's been happening for the entire season. We're going to cover the web series. I actually have no idea what the name of this web series is.
Yeah, it's whatever has been airing.
It's the next
between
Fear the Walking Dead's. It's been airing in the middle of all the Walking Dead episodes.
Yeah, and I keep
Which
seeing it, and
I
I
can't
keep
do 20
fast-forwarding
seconds
through.
of story.
Yeah,
It's too small.
it wasn't
of a-
20
of a
seconds.
piece.
It was a minute. It was a minute every time now, but
Okay, so this one's probably going to be a little longer than Flight was, which I'm okay with because Flight was a little short for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. We're gonna watch it and we're gonna cover it next week at this time slot. So.
Yep.
John, where can the people find you?
You can find me building unnecessary Star Wars ships at No More on Twitter.
Dom.
you can find me following John building unnecessary ships at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM.
Phenomenon. You can find me thinking about building imaginary starships. I'm Clio Moto at Twitter, Twitch, and Pinterest. And you can find all of us at ASOTV Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, and right here on YouTube. Follow us for some more podcasts from some of your favorite TV shows, video games, and movies. Till next time, I don't know why I'm breaking out the finger guns, but here they come.
Okay, Shooter
Bang,
McGavin. Shooter McGavin meets Negan. Make it happen.
Oh, God.